Now, Mother Teresa told the story of she had taken a whole bag of rice to a family over in India, and as she was passing out this bag of rice to this woman, the woman took the bag of rice, went into her home, dumped half of it out, stuck it in another bag, and took it to the neighbor. And Mother Teresa said, "Where did you go?" And she said, "We didn't need so much. We have food enough for a day now. So now we will provide for those who don't have food for a day." And Mother Teresa was so impressed with this woman who had received all of this food, recognized in herself she didn't need all of it. And she took part of it and she gave it away. How seldom do we often do that? Because the minute you want to throw something out, it becomes the most valuable thing on the planet. I've tried to go through my husband's closet, I can't even tell you how many times. Every time I ask him, "Can I throw this away?" "No, I might need that." What are you doing with that shirt?" I said, "You never wear it." "I might wear that." "No, I'll go through it myself." I'm still waiting. It doesn't happen. And the reason I know that is because the minute you try to pull something out of somebody to get that barley loaf away from them, it becomes the most important barley loaf in the entire basket. Because it's so precious to us, we can't bear it. We can't leave it by. But Jesus is asking us to leave it by. He is asking us to share what we have. He's asking us to take a leap of faith with Him, to trust Him that no matter what the circumstances are in our life, God isn't going to leave us. There is no circumstance in our life beyond God. Does that make sense? There's nothing beyond God. Nothing. There is no situation that you are currently in your life that is beyond the reach and power of God. Absolutely nothing. There is nothing you could tell me that I cannot prove to you that somehow God is involved in that situation. I may not know exactly how at that moment, but I'll find out, because as I would get to talk to you, I'd see what God's doing. God has a plan. God is involved. Now, it may not be the way you want God to be involved, but God's involved. He knows what's going on. The problem is that we need to get our focus right. We need to get our focus right. We need to stop trusting ourselves, looking inward upon ourselves, trusting ourselves for the answers. Or you call up your friends, don't you? Now, don't tell me you don't do this. You call up your friends and say, "I've got a situation. What should I do?" That's a natural thing. I've done it myself. What should I do? I only have a couple of friends from the seminary. They said, "Shannon, you know exactly what you need to be doing." I thought, I knew it. Man, caught. I won't call them next week. And so, you know, if you want an answer from people who are involved with the answer, who know that God is the answer, that's the answer they're giving you. Shannon, you know. It's just as if I was asking the question and Ezekiel says, but Shannon, you know. You know. And I would have to say, yes, you're right, I know. What do we do with that which we have? How do we put our trust in God? How do we look beyond ourselves? What could we be doing with the resources that we have? How can we make God our center stage? I heard this past weekend that Justin Timberlake spent $16 million redoing a golf course so it could be eco-friendly. I had to say, first of all, I don't like golf. So that started me off on the wrong foot to begin with. Now, there's a lot of people that like golf, but when it takes you 18 strokes to get off the first tee, you end up throwing it, you know it's not your game. Number two, $16 million for eco-friendly golf course? I think, is that someone who has too much time and money on his hands? I'm thinking I thought to myself, yeah, that's the first thing I do with that. No. So what would you do with $16 million? My goodness. Look at how many people are out of jobs in our country. Southern California has one of the highest unemployment rates in the area. You could be giving that money. Wow. This must be God's approval of that 16. Maybe we're all going to win 16. Is that me? That's not me. Okay, well, let's do it anyway. It's the background noise. And so, with $16 million, he could have fed how many people? He could have helped how many people? We see that over in the Darfur region alone, the churches have gone over there. They built 18 wells for fresh water. Those fed fresh water to 172,000 people. And that was under $500,000. They need more. 16 million would have taken care of that easily. It would have helped bring in a school. It would have helped some of the inner city Dayton schools. It would have helped some of the school systems down in California. He could have fed how many people that wait outside at the food pantries and food shelters in California because they're unemployed. One person brought up to me the point that actors make $20 and $30 million, but the people who co-star with them make $70,000. How right is that? You have to have $20 million to star in a film? And they say, well, you don't know how hard our job is. Yeah, it's hard cashing a check for $20 million. I know, I'd probably have to have somebody assist me because I probably never see a check for $20 million. So yeah, I probably would have to have cardiac services getting to the bank. But $20 million. $20 million. And the person who got $20 million had his bike, his motorcycle break down on the road. And a couple of paparazzi happened to pick him up in a taxi. And he refused to speak with them, nor did he even thank them for helping him. Because when you make $20 million, I guess you're above even thank you. In our society, you see how things are. We see how they are. We're focused on ourselves and our own needs. We rely upon ourselves. We put no thought into God. Maybe the reason our economic situation has come to where it is it's God's calling us back to reliance upon Him. Because when we have so much, God becomes so little. But when we have very little, God becomes very much in our life. After 9/11, you saw a lot of people in church. After it was over with, some of them may have stayed, but others left.